Hey everybody, welcome to Bookmas Day 4. Hey everybody, my name is Sophie, the Bookish Floor. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. So today, as you can see, I'm doing something a little bit different. I am dressed up as my favorite character of winter, which is Junior Mint. So it's not necessarily a winter character, it's actually a summer character, which is my favorite character from The Summer I Turned Pretty, Junior Mint. This poor guy kind of had to be front row seat to this whole mess, but he endured. He got his family back together at the end, and I think he deserves a prize for pretty much enduring all that. And I was him for Halloween, and honestly, it was the best decision I made because this is the most comfortable outfit I have ever worn in my life, and I have to admit, it is not just a Halloween costume. I have worn it plenty of time, and it's my new favorite PJ. And any opportunity I have to wear it, I will. And I decided to dress up again uh, as him for this Bookmas Day. And although this has nothing to do with the Samaritan Pretty, I will not waste an opportunity to be Junior Mint whenever I can because this is the most comfortable outfit in the world. And with the scarf, I mean, you can beat it. And because it is so cold today, I'm just gonna be comfy. So, with this outfit out of the way and this long-winded explanation, let's talk about book number 4. And honestly, I think you needed this explanation of the outfit because this is probably the best thing I'm gonna talk about today, because book number 4 is the last bookshop, the last Christmas bookshop. I don't even remember. As usual, I already forgot the title. This is the book. And as you guys can probably tell by now, whenever I don't remember the title of the book, is because the book didn't make that big of an impact on me. And another Christmas book that didn't have an impact on my life. So, this book, what can I say about this book? Is another Christmas story that had so many plots, so many things that they want to cover in one story that it kind of loses what it's really wanting to be, which is just a Christmas story. Why can we have stories that are simple and direct? And I am a fantasy reader. And fantasies tend to be anything but simple and direct. So I do like complicated stories. I do like story with a lot of plot lines, a lot of things going on around them. I mean, Lord of the Rings is one of my favorite stories, and it has so many plot lines going on at the same time. However, if you're writing a simple book about Christmas, and obviously this is not compared to like a fantasy trilogy or a fantasy book, but again, because it is not a comparison that you can do easily, I don't understand why they try to have so many plot lines in a Christmas book. This book is about a bookshop, apparently, but this story really is about a woman who goes visit her sister, and it's about the family dynamics with the sister and the mother and her nieces, and how she also ends up working at a bookshop and the dynamic with the bookshop owner. And then there's also like a romance with someone, and I don't remember, again, I don't remember because there's so many things going on, if it's someone who is like someone who's interviewing the person who owns the bookshop, or someone who's interested in the bookshop, or someone who is involved in that bookshop in some way or another, but there is like a romance plot line there. So there's like 3 different plot lines going on: the family plot line, the plot line with the bookstore owner, and the plot line with the romance. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but because you're constantly jumping through all these hoops, you don't know what you're trying to, like, where to focus. Am I focusing on the girl trying to risk, it seems like the bookshop is in some sort of trouble at the end of the day, and the story and the cover kind of makes you feel like the story is about rescuing the Christmas bookshop, right? Or something important with the bookshop. The story is gonna be related to the bookshop, and that's what I was going in for. I wanted a cozy story about maybe someone who works at a bookshop and maybe rescuing the bookshop, right? Maybe the bookshop is gonna be closing and it's a Christmas miracle that we saved the bookshop. That's the kind of story I wanna read during the holiday season. The community comes together and saves the indie store like from the ruins, kind of like the whole story in You Got Mail. And I get You Got Mail is there's a lot of plot lines also going on. You have the romance, you have the books, the bookstore going on there, and you have the family dynamics. But you have one main plot line, and then you have other plot lines that are secondary or the third plot line, right? They don't take such a big focus, and I think that is what's missing. I feel like people don't know how to do secondary or third plot lines. Like they want to give the same amount of focus to each plot line, so they spend the same amount of time on each plot line. And because they do that, you don't know where to focus on, like where to invest your time and your emotions and your energy on. Like there was a lot of time invested in the family dynamics and in the relationship with the nieces and the sister and all that. And honestly, I felt like the relationship with the mom and the sisters were borderline toxic, and the dynamics with the nieces felt a little bit like Mary Poppins, like this aunt was like the cookie aunt who was gonna be kind of like Mary Poppins, and the nieces and nephew were kind of, or the niece and nephew were kind of like spoiled and mean, but then they were kind of nice at the end. But was that the focus? Again, was this like a Mary Poppins type? Was that the focus of the story, or was it the bookshop? And then all of a sudden we were focusing on certain elements of the bookshop, and I totally forgot there was even a family. And then we would go back on chapters on the family, and I would totally forget that there was a plot line about the bookstore. So there was equal time on each plot line that I would totally forget what the book was about. And then I would totally forget that there was this guy in the story. So right now I have no idea what the story was about. I have no idea what the ending was. It was a book that finished, and I have nothing to tell you because I don't remember anything. I vaguely remember what I'm telling you. That it made no impact on my life. It made no I the only thing that I remember is that I felt like the relationship with the family was borderline toxic to the main character. The relationship with the, if there was a romance that I vaguely remember, it clearly didn't make an impact on me. They didn't root for anything there. And then the bookshop, did it close? Did it stay open? Was it actually a bookshop? I know she worked there, but did it make an impact on me? Not really. So could I recommend this book? I have no idea. I have no idea if it's a great story or not, because I can't remember anything. So my guesses would be it's not that great. I'm not the kind of person who is gonna go back and see if it's a great rating or an average rating or whatever, and I'm gonna give you my opinion based on that, because that's automatically gonna give me like bias whether I recommend it or not. Because if I see that it's highly rated, I'm gonna be like, oh, maybe I did have a good time. No, I'm telling you how I felt when I was listening to it, how it felt so disjointed in my experience, how it felt like it was so chopped. I wasn't sure what story I was listening to. It felt like 3 different books, equal times on each different story, that it wasn't enough time on each story. So maybe this should have been a trilogy, one where it was just focused on the family, then a second book where she just goes and works at a bookstore, and then the third one when she finds the guy and the romance is developed. I don't know, but if you have 3 big ideas, instead of putting all 3 in one book and not develop each one steadily and consistently, maybe don't put them all in one book, just work on each one. And same thing that I was talking about yesterday, about people just wanting to crank up like books, these commercial books that people just wanna put out for like those seasonal books, right? They're starting to feel like they're books that you would find like TJ Maxx, Ross, Marshalls, right? If they were books that they were put out by these companies that are like seasonal companies, they put out decor, they put out whatever, and they put out books. Why is it that they're doing that? Why is it that they're not putting so much effort on these books? Why is it that they don't think that people who are into the holiday seasons, that are into uh seasonal things, deserve quality products? Like, I don't understand. If we are gonna invest on these products, I know they are for the season, but we're gonna come back to it every season. They're not disposable products. It's not we're gonna read them this Christmas and then throw them away. Honestly, for example, Dash and Lily, I'm gonna put that example right there. I am a huge fan of Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. I don't know if you guys have ever read that book or seen that movie, but I saw that movie like when it came out. I immediately saw that it was also a book, and I read the book and I loved it. The same authors wrote A Dash and Lily. I saw that Netflix had the series, the mini series. I watched it when it came out. I think it was in 2020 or in 2021. I don't remember. I watched it. Seasonal tradition. I watch it every year. I bought the book and I read it and I love it. If you put out a good product, people are gonna come back to it, even if it's just seasonal. Home Alone, every year people watch it, right? And how long has that been around for? So even if it's just seasonal, that it's not a throwaway. You can put a good seasonal product out there and people are gonna come back to it. So I think that you can write seasonal books that are not throwaways. So please, on behalf of all of us who do Bookmas or Summerween or whatever it is, don't just produce these books that are throwaways, that are like minimum effort, minimum writing, editing effort. Like, put out good products out there. And this is not like, I'm not bashing on this particular book. I'm like just talking in general, because I feel like again, like I talked about yesterday, I feel like this need to mass produce books and just throw them to the public, and what's next and what's next and what's next. And then they're complaining about not having enough money to pay authors and to do this and to do that. Well, maybe stop mass producing things that are not good quality, so you do have money to produce quality things. What if we do that? Let's not waste money on things that are not great. I don't know, this is just like a general thought that I'm having right now, because again, if the editors would have just said, you know what, I think there's 3 stories here, let's just edit this to be one clear story, and let's polish it a little bit more, and let's have a full attention on this particular story, maybe that could be great. I think that's my problem with this particular book. And like I said before, and I'll say it again, maybe this just wasn't my cup of tea. Maybe I just couldn't pay attention to it. If you feel differently, if there's something that I missed, that's okay. If you want to explain to me so that I can change my mind, that would be great. Sometimes, hey, there's readers mistakes also, and I'm open to it. Like I've always said this, I'm open to it. If I made a mistake when I'm reading it, if I missed something, I don't know, could be that. Your opinion is totally different from mine. Just make sure that if you leave it in the comment, it's totally respectful. And again, I'm not bashing anyone who loves this book. I'm so happy for you. I wish that I could love every book that I read. Again, I'm happy that you love it. I want to love it. I just didn't. If you can make me change my mind, I'm here for it. I'm open to listening to all of your comments because that's what I actually want. I want to read every book and love every book. But yeah, for me it was a no for this one. Like I couldn't understand what was the point of this particular story. But yeah, that was that book. It was a little disappointing. Right now the best book that I've read is The Snowman, which is a 10-minute book, and it's a classic, and it's a classic for a reason. These newer books are not hitting the mark. Yesterday, I know that I keep saying going back to yesterday, actually the one that I just read yesterday I did like a lot. My only complaint was that it could use a little bit of polish on certain parts, but I did like that a lot. So don't think that the one that I'm talking from yesterday I didn't like. I actually did like that. The only thing that I noticed was the fact that this particular author put out 5 books in the last couple of years, which seemed fast to me when it comes to writing and publishing. But that book I actually like. So if you are gonna pick one of these two, pick the one from yesterday, which is The Gingerbread Cafe. So yeah, I would recommend that one instead of this one. And let's go ahead and do the bingo. Let me find my pen. I'm back. Okay, let me do the bingo. Let's see if there's something that I can mark. Okay, yesterday I didn't have my bingo card, but I said that I was gonna mark the gingerbread cookie tray because it was the bakery, and the gingerbread snowflake because it was, again, the bakery, and a snowflake because they were at a wedding. And for today, I think I'm gonna mark the present because one of the kids is like, did you bring me any presents? To the end. So I'm gonna do that. And let's see from the prompts. Let's do the original prompts in case you have forgotten. I'll tell you the prompts. And if you guys are wondering where you can get the bingo card and the prompts, you can get them over at Bookmas_challenge, which is the account for the Bookmas challenge that I am hosting. So you guys go ahead and check that out. And you can also go over to my Instagram, which is at the Bookish Floor. You can tag me over there and tag me at the Bookmas challenge when you're doing your prompts or you're doing your bingo card. Okay, so read a book that takes place in one day. Read a book about a big city or small town. Read a book about a different holiday tradition. Read a book that has an impossible mission. I think I'm gonna mark read a book about a big city or small town because I already did that. And then for the extra round, read a book that takes place in a different time and space. Oh, I did that yesterday because it was a dual POV. Read a book about a different holiday. Read a book with a movie adaptation and watch. Read a nonfiction book. Read a book that has a Christmas recipe that you have to make. Okay, I haven't done that. I think there was a recipe on yesterday's book, but I didn't do any of that. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there. That is the bingo. And I think that it's it for now. All the books that I am reading, I'm actually listening to it over on Storytel. If you guys are interested, it is a app where you can listen to audiobooks or you can get ebooks. Same thing, very similar to Audible or any of those comparable apps. The link is right there in the description, the affiliate link if you guys want to check it out. Not sponsor or anything, but if you guys want to check it out, it's right there. It's just an different option if you guys want to see. Also, all the ways that you can support my channel are right there on the description box. Thank you so much for joining me. If you please feel free to comment, like, subscribe, do the bell thing. Remember to keep reading and keep blooming, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.